He's today. Hello, welcome to Everton Daily Live. One of Everton's transfer targets has gone to Qatar for the money. Fair play to him.
Saudi.
There's been a lot of chat, a lot of people being frustrated on social media, rightly so in some respects. It's a target Everton wanted, we haven't been able to get. All I would say is that for his wages and what he's taken on that deal, we couldn't have been in that race. Over 200 grand a week for Rodrigo. Everton weren't paying.
To Saudi?
I'm joined by John. That's the voice you can hear to my right. He's gone to Al Rayyan.
Al Hilal, I thought he was. Al Hilal?
No, Al Hilal's Damari Gray. Rodrigo's Al Rayyan.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Al Hilal are in talks with Damari Gray.
Okay. No, I know where Al Hilal is.
So there we are. That's one of them. However, we'll have to move on, won't we? Because we're in a position where we're constantly saying, day by day, we need to get hold of our wage cap.
Yeah.
We need to drag the wages back down to a place called reality, where Everton haven't been living for a while, it seems. You know, James Rodriguez was on something like 210 grand a week, and that was for a team that isn't in Europe, and certainly a team that isn't in the Champions League, but certainly a team that isn't in Europe. We can't be paying that kind of money to a player. So someone like Rodrigo, yes, I think he'd have been a good signing for Everton. But
at what level
32 years of age.
At what level would he be a good signing? And when I say level, I mean financial commitment. So wages and transfer fee if one's involved and stuff. At what level would it be a good deal?
I think about 75 grand a week.
Right.
The 3 million was fine, which is what we would have paid for him. Okay. I think that was okay. 32, it's a little...
And how long a contract would you give
2 years he was offered, which he was happy with until someone else said, we'll give you 200 grand for that.
Yeah. So you'd have $1.5 million, which is obviously, 30 grand a week depreciation on the transfer fee. So he's going to cost you 100 grand a week.
Yeah, basically.
Which for a Premier League player is...
Who gets goals.
Doesn't matter how you cut it, right? Yeah, but last season was an outlier, wasn't it? It's the best season he's had.
It is the best season he's had there, but he also did...
It was best season for like 5 years.
He did get like 8s and stuff the years before, though, isn't it? Which
6s and 7s.
Which is put us where about right. No, listen, I'm not... To me, today, I'm not walking around like a babe with a short head.
No, me neither, but your intro was fundamentally about people who are really uptight about it, and it's not the kind of deal we... You know... Even then it was, and I think you're right to describe it where you were, if you were fundamentally saying this, taking him at 100 grand a week for a couple of seasons, that's good, but not good, but that's okay business.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, I think that's
still a bit higher than I'd like, to be honest, if I'm being perfectly honest.
If you do the stato bit on him, you know, last season, if you take the goals out, Dwight McNeil blew him away on all the other stats. Blew him away.
One extra in the squad.
No, I understand that, but blew him away. Therefore, if you took a regular season, I mean, you might argue that last season was Dwight McNeil's best ever.
Well, it was, wasn't it?
No, I mean, as in we may never be that good from a goal scoring point of view again.
Yeah.
But if you take his average season since he kept, well, even when he was playing in other countries, right? He was a 6-7 goal a season person, right? Sweet FA defensively, right? Teamwork. All that stats, hence why Dwight will blow him away and all those sorts of things. And you'd say, well, how much are we paying Dwight McNeil? But of course we know we paid through the nose for his transfer fee. If Dwight's on, was he 5 years, Dwight?
5, yeah.
So this is the context for people out there really who are almost on the side of saying, well, he was not post-prime and all that sort of stuff. Dwight's transfer fee costs us 100 grand a week on its own. And your a decent deal would be 100 grand in total. So whatever we pay Dwight McNeil is on top of the 100 grand depreciation on the transfer fee. That's sadly where Premier League is. They all cost too much.
Well, Everton, I seen something yesterday. I'm not 100% convinced by it, but apparently the average wage in the Premier League 79 grand a week.
Sounds about right, because of the big, huge numbers will drag.
That's it. So there's different things. So that's kind of what you've got to look at. I think a lot of people are just frustrated, I think, aren't they? Because we need strikers. We need goals in our team. We've lost, obviously, over the last few years. The likes of Richarlison has gone, who was double digits every year for us. We lost Gylfi Sigurdsson, who was 1 year 13, other years 9s and 10s. So them goals have gone out the side as well. and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been unavailable basically for 2 seasons. He's played 36
You just
times.
got to discount his numbers. Yeah.
So
they're icing on the cake, aren't they? Those if they
yeah,
ever
but
happen.
what I mean is, prior to those 2 seasons, he was a regular goal scorer.
No, I
for
understand.
Everton. So you take him and you take Richarlison out immediately. There's a lot of goals gone on.
This is
Guilty.
deja vu. We had this
Gone on.
conversation last year.
And that's it. So that's why
Didn't
I
we?
think people are going, well, all right, fine, if it isn't Rodrigo, but who is it? Everton are working on others. But one name that is back on the radar very much.
Oh,
so.
it's sorry, I'm just distracting you. It's Mitrovic who I saw Al Hilal for.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I convinced myself Romano was saying that Rodrigo, but it doesn't really matter. It's the same gig, isn't it? It's stupid money.
It's
Yeah.
big money.
Yeah.
Like I said, John, when I open the show with, I know what you can dive in with stuff, but I'm just going
This
to
is
evade them.
entertainment.
I'm going to evade them challenges.
This is entertainment.
Is it?
Have you ever worked in Saudi or the Middle East?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's why I went
So-
money.
Well, exactly. That's why you go.
And that's why these guys are going money.
Of course
So-
it is. You've lost me train of thought now. What I was saying was Danjuma is back on Everton's radar.
That's getting some traction with people on the tell him to off or whatever.
Well, that's it. I mean, I did a poll last night.
I saw it,
It
yeah.
was literally just because I'd seen.
Which way did I vote, do you think?
Obviously, I think you said take him.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people's view is, not happy with what he did. I mean, there was a lot of good ones saying things like, but if you have a look, like, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he have gone to Spurs and all of that, right? But let's do it. So I asked about it. And
While you
4,500 people, which is, ITV do their polls on 71 people, and it's 87% said whatever. This is 4,500
so far.
So it's got a lot of traction and a lot of people voting.
It must
in
be
it,
in the 80s,
right?
Is it?
81.2% said, we'll have him.
Yeah.
18.
They're non-emotional decision making, aren't
And
they?
that's it, because what a lot of people are saying is, and rightly so, is he better than what we have right now? Well, his numbers look like he's going to be.
Would he improve the squad?
And does he improve that? And he can play anywhere across the front three.
Yeah. Improving the squad's the right phrase, because even is he better than what we got? Has got negative, like he's better than him, but he would definitely improve the squad. He brings attributes we don't have in let's be polite and say we don't have them in abundance. We probably don't have some of them at all, right? And we know. See, the real problem I think is we have a football club who doesn't talk to us. And we don't want you to tell us you've got 17 deals on the go and it all takes time and stuff like that. We just want to sort of know that you know what we're feeling like, and that, because you clearly do, that you know where the team requires strengthening. And if you're sitting in your tower somewhere thinking, oh, we've got this interview that's in the can, but we better not release it because that'll tell all the clubs out there what we need. It's pointless showing us it when the window's closed.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's pointless showing us it when the deals have been done to say, see, it was all to a plan. So you've either produced a bit of content that was a waste of time or publish it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Really?
understand the sitting on it bit.
I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all.
But we don't understand a lot of things.
But unfortunately, therefore, if you try and be a bit reasonable and say these things take time, we all know you've got the domino effect that applies when clubs start moving players because they've got what they want, therefore they'll let their man go and all this sort of stuff. But Danjumas of this world, they should be a bit like Rodrigo, outliers where they're not in a chain. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to go back where he came from. And there isn't a big queue, and he allegedly liked us until he got cold feet, about changes of manager and stuff like that. Unless we forget the reason he didn't sign is because nobody stuck a piece of paper in front of him and said, put your signature on that. Yeah? You know what I mean? The logistics of closing the deal seemed to have been part of the challenge there, didn't it? So,
but I think his agent might have been saying wait as well.
Well, always.
These are about to, to bullet the manager, which everyone knew they were.
Well, that is also the point. But you wouldn't come in the first place, would you, if that was going to disrupt you?
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
Well, unless it's it's a wheeler dealer, which is his job, by the way, of an agent, is saying we'll get a little bit more somewhere else if we've got somebody to scare them with. Yeah. We're not coming to you because this lot over here have offered more money. Well, in negotiating terms, if what you've offered is all you're prepared to pay, say, okay, then take that one then. So it should have been us showing him the door, not him going off his own bat. But
I think
it's history now, anyway.
It's probably a bit of
it's history. It doesn't matter. It's
things,
history.
if you're sat there and you're thinking, this club seems a little bit unsettled, and then there's a Champions League club saying, we'll take it.
That's why I voted the way I voted.
No,
I get all that, but it's our job to smooch people.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
We as a club, particularly this manager, the previous manager, the one before that, the one before that, the one before, this has been going on a long time, know that from an outside looking in, impartial observer, to quote Pete Molyneux, you're in a bloody mess. So why would anyone of any sense go there? Because they believe the characters who are selling the gig to them. And if you believe who you're being sold to, and say the big sell was done by Lampard, and then he gets bulleted, you think, well, I was only going for him. So that's one reason alone for not going. If you then only come to us anyway because no one else is interested, it'd be interesting to see if it had been someone who wasn't in the Champions League, who wasn't in London and so on, and one suspects he'd have gone anyway. And he's learned his lesson, right? He didn't get any
Well, we might get the better end of the deal now.
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
simple reason that he went to Spurs, didn't get a kick really.
Yeah, that's right.
Bit frustrated. Wants to prove himself.
Absolutely.
Maybe. So,
but for the club's point of view, if that's a serious opportunity for us, they again put themselves, on a precipice, because if I'm the agents, I'm thinking you can't afford to let this one fall again. So you're back around that loop of making it hard for yourselves. So be really objective with the guy. Tell him what you're prepared to pay him. Tell him what the terms are, blah, blah, blah. And then ask him the very simple question, yes or no. And if it's yes, announce it. After he's done the medical and signed the paperwork, of course. But if he's umming and ahhing, he said, we've been here with you, mate. We're not going to be the stalking horse for you. Yeah. If you can get a better deal, go, right? But by the way, if you come back to us, it won't be this deal. They're all basic negotiation tactics, and everybody should be prepared to play them because that's part of the game. Yeah. Unfortunately, it is part of the game. So
Gary Ward says, howdy. Everton Vikings says, I'd take Danjuma.
Yeah, good man.
Pip would take anyone right now because the squad's weaker than it was last year. Yeah.
I don't go for the take anyone. So
no, I
don't think you mean that.
Dan says, for a player profile, I'd take Danjuma, but for messing us about, we shouldn't go back. It looks desperate. But we are desperate, aren't we, in some respects?
See, I don't think it's desperate either. I think it's objective. The good reasons we wanted him are still there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes deals don't happen, and then both parties think, you know what, we should have done that deal.
He said himself he'd changed the decision, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
if he had,
well, if that's true,
well, that's what he said. Whether he,
yeah, but if that's true, use that as a lever in a negotiation and get the deal done. Because what we're hearing there is a guy who says, "I wish I'd gone there." So if you still want me, I'm ready. Well, do it then.
Well, he was liking Everton posts yesterday.
Yeah, but he was doing that before.
I know what I'm saying. It's like started again, hasn't
so
he?
come on, Kev. Make your name, lad.
Let's do it.
I'm sure he can't wait to get to Stoke and to Bolton and Wigan.
Get involved.
Season, yeah.
Get involved. Richard said Danjuma being linked to Feyenoord. Well, he will. Dutch, isn't he? So them clubs will always pop up, but he wants the
Saudis and Qataris can do us for money. We can do the Dutch, can't we?
Yeah, exactly. Crimson says if Danjuma improves our team, therefore our squad, we should consider him.
Well,
Paul Mbomma says get him in. He did nothing wrong. If we'd have signed him, we would have probably been in even deeper water with FFP than we are now. Where are we? Here, AC says Danjuma commenting and liking a lot of Everton posts. Yeah, absolutely.
It's great fun, isn't it?
Well, that's what they do nowadays.
Of course they do.
Where are we here? Danjuma is hot on the players' socials during pre-season. I'm really impressed, really interested rather, to see how he reacts to the fans if he jumps on board with us. What you would say, right, is that he's got big bollocks if he comes, hasn't he? That he's been here, he's turned us down, he's been abused quite a lot on social media by Evertonians who've given me. I mean, Mathew Barry, good friend of the show, Mathew, Premier member and all that. So basically I've been abusing him every week on social media when he hasn't played, and a few others have messaged me saying, yeah, I've been giving him it every single week, but if he comes, all forgotten.
There are very, 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 very few good players, who you wouldn't have in your team, and usually they are because they've done something that's so outrageous or the play for someone or whatever. And he hasn't done anything close to being able to not. I mean, clearly it'd be easier for him to go somewhere else. Yeah.
Oh, of course it was. Yeah.
But as soon as you put on a blue shirt, lad, and score goals, no one will ever remember you. We're a bit tardy signing, will they?
So,
No one.
Crimson says here, Rodrigo's offered 200 grand a week. Everton are right to walk away. Absolutely, they are. Satoshi Corner says Danjuma, Toure and Nonso into fight with McNeil, Dom and Iwobi for the front three positions. It'd be great. Yeah, it would be great. Well,
this also changes that the manager gets to.
Well, the thing is, Damari Gray's going to go, isn't he? He's talking to Al Hilal.
Yeah.
They've got big money. They give him anywhere that he thinks is a decent.
Which one's Slippy the manager of? Is that Al Hilal?
No. Al Hilal. Is Al Hilal Ronaldo's team?
It's Riyadh.
Yeah. Al Hilal's one of the big ones. Maybe if it isn't Ronaldo's team's the ones who wanted Messi. So it's a big. They've got a lot of money. If he goes there, right? Okay. So Al Hilal's the one who wanted Lionel Messi. So obviously it's good for him to go there, money wise for him personally. I mean, forget about all the other stuff.
It's triple money, tax free.
But
why wouldn't you?
So for him, when he was looking at Everton and going, this manager doesn't even really fancy me, I can tell. Then why hang around? And then Everton, you would hope then that's the cash injection Everton need for now. It's not saying this yesterday to Mike. Mike was on last night.
It was at 5 o'clock last
night.
He was
very down. And I was just explaining that maybe some of the sticking points just right now are Everton haven't got the cash. It's not whether Everton can spend the money. Spend the money. If I say to you, John, can I buy your car off you? And I promise you by the 30th of June, I'll have paid you the 30 grand. And you go, yeah, all right, you can do that. But you've got to give me 8 grand up front. And then you can pay the rest off over that time. And I haven't got 8 grand. You don't do the deal with me, do you? It's not whether I can pay the money. I'm confident I can get you the 30 grand by June the 30th, which is where Everton might be with some of these deals. Yeah. And these clubs might be going, oh, well, we need 6-8 million, whatever, up front because we need to do that with the person or whatever it is. Don't know the complexities of it. I'm just saying quite often Everton have... A story come out over Toure, Bilal Toure, saying Everton had offered, basically, they want to take him on loan and then pay in the summer for him. And Almeida like... No.
But that's not an unusual deal.
No, but isn't it the club want rid of him, but he's their striker. So it's like us selling the Charlton to Spurs and going, yeah, just pay us next year. Which wouldn't have happened because we need money to do stuff. So Almeida, their CEO, saying, well, we need something because we want to do deals. And that may be where... No, I just kicked that off. Maybe that where Everton are up to. They need just that little influx of cash to give them the upfront payments. I don't know.
I mean, it's all about whether the people doing the negotiating, be they Bill, Thelwell or whatever, and candidly, I suspect neither of them are the sort who do the nuance of deal construction. They might know what they've done in the past, but in a very simplistic way, if you want to pay something, buy something off me, but pay later, you pay more. I'll do a deal with you right now that says I'm buying this guy for 30 million quid and this is your point, but you want 5 million right now. Yeah? So, okay, so I'll give you 5 million right now and then we agree when I give you the other 25. And I go, yeah, but I'd rather just have a loan for this season and then give you 30. You should say, on your bike. You know? Because then you have to pay for that convenience. So when you're playing games with me, I say, well, it's 30 mil if you do the deal right now, give me 5 mil. Yeah. If you haven't got any cash now and you want to play this game of loan, because loan just means you don't want to start paying until you're paying this guy's wages. Yeah. Then when you do pay, I want 35 instead. And that's a big hike in percentage terms.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if the club go okay, then you just try and lean on whoever you're buying from to accept similar terms. And that's what takes the time. And so as we were talking before, you got this series of dominoes all lined up, and if one domino fails to tip over and knock the one next to it, it stops. Yeah, which is why if you go early when the domino length is not very long, like there's only you in the game. Say Danjuma might be in that one, for example.
Yeah,
But as soon as it flashes up, Al Hilal are interested in him now, or that Qatari club are interested, then that's a domino that's not going to fall.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody ahead of it and behind it are buggered until it does, one way or the other. So go early. If you know what you want, go and do it.
Yeah.
And clearly, if you target people that not many other clubs want, because you're going for these countless youthful players who, you know, are a bit more risky, right, about whether they'll succeed or not, but are clearly less financially risky, even though they're potentially higher sporting risk.
Yeah.
But that's why we pay Mr. Thelwell and others millions of pounds a year to know these things. So.
Yeah. Jake said, just took a break from sunbathing next to the pool in Turkey.
Oh, thanks
to come
for that,
and
mate.
listen to
Well
you
done.
guys. Nice one, Jake. With Rodrigo opting for the money, do you think we will go big on Dembele or stick to our guns in terms of money? Dom looks sharp, but we cannot rely on him again. The Dembele one's weird to me, Jake. I can only assume it's money, maybe. Maybe he's asking for crazy money. Don't know. I honestly don't know. But
if I'm a
he's
footballer
free.
right now,
He's a free transfer.
if I'm a footballer right now, I've got to be thinking at the back of my head, wherever this Premier League club's offering me, some Middle Eastern club might offer me double or triple that. And they're fond of telling us how short their careers are. Yeah. And really, you know, you take Rodrigo as an example. You said we were perhaps offering 70, 75 grand a week, and he was happy, in quotes, he was happy with that. He's going for triple. You know, that sets you and future generations up forever. So the disruptive nature of what's going on in the Middle East is it might actually make these transfer windows even more fraught than normal, because players will still think, you know, what's going to happen if in 5 minutes' time, after I've signed for this club, someone says, well, we would have given you triple that, mate. It's like McElroy with the golf, innit? He says no, and all the guys who said yes have got their 200 million quid and are back in the fold. Yeah. You know, it's that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's mad.
And until the season starts and they realise they're in a backwater and no one's watching them, and there are restrictions for living in those countries, whether you're mega rich or not, be interesting to see what happens in future windows when experiences start coming out about what it's like. Yeah. So,
Matt says a lot of us aren't happy. It's the situation, the lack of plan, the lack of action, the lack of competence. For us, it's nothing to do with the Rodrigo deal. It's the bigger picture. Yeah, but the bigger picture is you knew all this before it started. That's the thing that I struggle with, is that anyone who thought going into this transfer window everything was fixed, and it was, then I struggle to understand where your thought process got you to that point.
I don't.
When everybody... So you thought going into this everything was fixed?
No. The thought process that lists the problems, right? Which you just said, well, we all knew that. Yeah. And although he hasn't used the words, and if the guys online, perhaps he'd comment about whether I'm trying to summarise it right.
Go on.
But he's seeing the Rodrigo thing as a symptom of those other things.
I know. But...
So I've got a gammy arm, right? I know I've got a gammy arm. I know it hurts. And the hurting is the symptom of the problem.
Of course, yeah.
But when it hurts, it still hurts, even though I know that it.
But...
And so it hurts us that we're not as communicative as we should be. We exhibit behaviours which look like we don't have a plan. They must have one, but we can only see what we see, don't we? And so on. And this will happen throughout the window. Every time an event comes along, it's going to be a player. Reminds us that through a symptom of what the real problem is, then people are going to get upset.
Oh, of course they are. I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset. I'm just saying you shouldn't be surprised or go, it's a lack of plan, a lack of this, a lack of that. Well, we don't know, do we? Because
no, we don't. We don't know.
You've just said there must be a plan.
There must be.
Lots of people are telling me there's lots going on. Okay, well, it must be like the bloody iceberg then, because we can't really see it, can we? Or it's the plants, you know, the seed coming through the soil. Because it must all be going on underneath, because there's no evidence.
Yeah, but there is an interesting point about that, and it'd be interesting to see how the football club, whether it has a good, bad or indifferent transfer window, how it chooses to if you like, explain it. Because what it tried to allow last time was in January, particularly, of course, but although he was only here for 5 minutes. But Deitch tried to say, I saw it, I knew they were working really, really hard and all this sort of stuff. Sean 20, 30 years ago, I was telling my teams, show me activity is not the same as show me productivity. You can all look busy.
Yeah.
It's outcomes that matter.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
Outcomes
let
that
me
matter.
ask you this then, right? Because this is where I struggle with it, but I also, and again, doing this is for people who think that I think everything's all right. Far from it. No. Anyone who has a conversation with me will know.
You want to see him when he's got a sore head about things,
or when I'm not on the mic, the camera. Right. But I also look at everything. You're talking about the big picture. That's all I look at, Matt. It's the big picture. I don't just look at something in one lens like some people do. I look at everything and go, okay, what's that then? Why is that? How is that? Right. The thing I do struggle with is right now, and this has gone on forever. There's videos, if you go back on our thing, 5 years, probably 6 years, where I've done videos about players I think Everton should sign. Right. I'll be amazed if Everton have signed 2 of the 50 players I've done videos on. Right. But a lot of them, not all of them have gone on to be great successes, but a lot of them have done well and would have helped Everton improve. I mean, Villa have just put a big bid in for Moussa Diaby, who Everton watched 18 times, who we should have got 3 years ago when Brands was here, and we didn't pull the trigger on it. He was a tremendous winger, fast. And anyway, that's by the by. It'll just be another one who slipped through the net. But right now, I don't know how anything changes because all the same people are still there. So so how I write that in my mind, just for now, is, well, yeah, everyone else is still there. So this process will just be very similar. I know from people I speak to and people who've now left the club and things like that, Everton have worked hard on trying to get deals. But I want to know higher up where the blockage is. That's what I want to know. It's not necessarily the people who are trying to do the deal. Kevin, for all I know, and I don't know this because to quote you only know what, or you don't know what you don't know. Kevin Thelwell could be working his bollocks off and have spinning deals here, there and everywhere. For whatever reason, they're getting blocked, aren't they? Right?
Or they're not happening. For whatever reason.
Block
sounds like it's conscious, but yeah, not happening.
Yeah, not happening. Maybe that's money, maybe it's whatever, right? But I don't know how that changes while the current people are still all there. So I don't know whether MSP have got a magic wand when they come in and start trying to change cultures and go right. Because it needs somebody. And this is why I've put you forward a lot of times, and I'm probably a bit biased, but I've put you forward to go, I know that if you went in, things would improve because you've already got a vision as a fan, as someone who's the chairman of the Shareholders Association, loads and loads and loads of more experience than probably anyone in Everton have got doing business at top level. But you would go in and go, right, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. And I know there would be improvements. So you mightn't be able to correct it all. And you might have, you would have challenges, just the way we're run as a football club. The same way as that I often champion Alan Myers to go back as Everton's head of chief engagement officer, as you often call them, whatever he is, that or head of media or whatever. Because I know immediately Everton's communication would improve like that. Overnight. If Alan Myers went in. Like that. Right? Because the fella is hugely
Perception would change.
Perception would change. But
that's all we want.
We will communicate. I know that immediately. And for anyone who goes, well, why would it improve under Alan Myers? Well, I'll tell you why it'd improve under Alan Myers. A, he's an Everton. This isn't the most important point. This is way down the list, but he's an Evertonian. Right, so he loves his club. B, he's done that job on 2 different occasions at Everton, so he understands the fans. He knows how difficult we are as a fan base, and we are. As we might try and tell everyone we're not, but we are. He understands the Premier League. He understands media. He's worked for the biggest, the biggest broadcasting thing for 20 odd years. He's been a director and been in the boardroom.
MD
at Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah.
Directly working with
difficult owners,
eccentric owners, I was going to say, to give them that. So all them immediately makes him, for me, the most qualified person Everton could put in charge of that, in that role that you've often talked about, the chief engagement officer.
Yep.
So I know that would improve. right now, you're not in at Everton, so I can't look for you to make the improvements I want to happen. Alan's not in at Everton. For now, if Everton have got any ounce of brain cells there and any vision, they would grab Alan now and make him come back.
You'd have to convince him.
That's
why I like the word they'd make him.
No, I'm saying they'd have to make him come
not
back.
With money
right?
either.
No, not money. Other stuff. It's support.
The money alone wouldn't sort it.
And letting him do what he thinks is right because the communication would improve. But I'm hoping that MSP, and this could be a wild fantasy from me, but I'm hoping these people who come in, whether it's Andy Bell or whoever they choose once this deal goes through, because I think it's widely accepted Sue will be coming in, I'm hoping at least one of them has a vision, very similar to like you, who will go, this is wrong, how do we change it? Because for me, otherwise, John, this is just my reading of it, my perception. Otherwise, all of these things where I'm saying, well, why are you surprised? We know that there's no plan. We know that there's no structure. We know that there's no this. We know there's no that. That just becomes a rhetoric that I continue to repeat each summer.
Doing the same over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
I mean, the sad indictment of all this and the biggest challenge the club faces in the short term, and maybe it's already too late per se, right, is the lack of engagement. Yeah. Because you can calm the waters for a short while at least by just talking to people, okay, while you're trying to change the back end.
Yeah.
But the biggest surprise for an Evertonian right now, whatever the date is today, first week,
12th of July.
12th of July. The biggest surprise, I'm an Evertonian.
It's a calendar month away from the start of the season.
Yeah.
Fulham is a calendar month.
Yeah, that's
away.
Right. Okay.
August
so I'm
12th.
an Evertonian, so I'm just voting for me, right? I'm not putting things in anyone else's head, right? Right now, sitting as I do in here, looking out in the world, seeing Goodison over there on your big mural on the wall and all that jazz. Yeah. The biggest surprise to me would be we had a reasonably universal acceptance when the window closes. It was a good window for Everton because I'm expecting the same shitfest that we always have. Right?
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Because you've just said it all. That means my expectation is low.
Yeah.
And it drains me that I can't make a difference because I think I would. Yeah. And there's probably lots of people watching this right now, either themselves or someone they know, they think, you know what, if Fred was involved, he might not be the best, or she, whatever, the best person in the world, but they'd be at least try and make the world a better place. Yeah. Right. And I'm genuinely, because of my historical things about what I've done in the past, I have a real issue if anybody, even if they're mates who either used to work at the club or still do or whatever, who talk about how hard people are working, because hard work's nothing without outcomes.
Yeah.
Right? And I used to have a big argument, particularly when I was in the Middle East and stuff, about one guy in particular. He'll know who it is. He's never going to see this guy called Alf, who used to sit most of the time with his feet up saying, I'm here for what I know. And the Saudis can ask me any time for advice and guidance. Yeah. If I do it for them, they don't learn anything.
Okay.
So I'm here for what I know.
Yeah.
Right? And therefore, it's not all about, do I look really, really busy? It's classical cliche-driven stuff. It's about quality, not quantity, and all that sort of stuff. And all you ever hear out of Everton, really, and it's usually when we failed at something, about how hard we were working. You know, right back to Martinez, he's still there at midnight.
Yeah.
No one ever thought to say, on his own. That alone tells you what's wrong with the business when the guy under the most pressure is sat in an office on his own till midnight, not knowing what to do. And no one's there saying, come and have a beer, put your arm around you, let's sit down, let's figure out what we need to do, and so on. This football club has had a long, long time to understand why doesn't it achieve the objectives it sets out to do. And you quite rightly observed before that maybe we just don't have the cash to get deals over lines, you know, the down payment, whatever you want to call it. But we've also sat on the sofa over there countless occasions saying when the window opens, the director of football should know what he's got, the deck of cards he's got he can play with. He knows how much cash he can put up front on deals. He knows what the total aggregate of ownership costs of transfer fees, agents' fees, and wages for the player himself. He knows what all that adds up to, and he knows what his wish list is. And all he has to do is to go down the journey. Now, what he can't do is force the other parties to dance to his tune. So these things do take time because of that.
Yeah.
You know, Danjuma says, right, I'm happy with the wages, the transfer fee, say it was a transfer, they're happy with that. My agent's as pleased as punch. We're good to go. And then he says, let me think about it for a week or two.
Yeah.
Are we going to say, sorry, mate, we're moving on? Now, you might, because if you believe he's just looking for another, you know what I mean? So that's the art of negotiation. And I don't know if we actually do that type of negotiating and do the white of the eyes thing. And because so much of this must be done on telephones and goddamn WhatsApp messaging and all that. So seeing put someone across the table and say, you're going to sign this piece of paper then? Or what? You know? But if you're an Evertonian who thinks it's going to be better just because we're having another bash at it, then you are going to suffer. If you're pragmatist and expect it to be a shitfest, then anything north of that is better than a shitfest. But it doesn't make you feel any better.
No.
Because we can all look at the squad depth. We can all say, and I was persistent in saying it, that the previous but one manager didn't extract the most out of the squad, and that was part of the reason we were in the mess that we were in. But we've diluted it down, and we can't keep going to that well and getting away with it.
No.
We really can't. So if survival is not optional, and that's in this division, you'd expect to see outcomes arriving at a reasonably regular basis. And one of the outcomes, sorry, I will shut up, one of the outcomes will be a more effective engagement with your fan base. Because we're the ones suffering and paining and bitching and whinging.
Absolutely.
You know, it's crazy. It really is totally crazy.
The thing about it, the frustrating
and it must drive the PR people mad because they bloody filmed the goddamn thing with Thelwell, haven't they? And it must be nearer 2 weeks than 1 week since it was done. So it's already got to be generic, hasn't it? Because its shelf life's gone.
I think the frustrating thing for a lot of people is we all know that goals are what is needed. We knew it a year ago.
Absolutely.
And we didn't do anything and we ended up escaping on the last day of the season. We all know it again, only we're in a worse position, almost. And that's why Everton have simply...
But goals is the outcome, isn't it?
Yeah. Not getting those forward players, though, isn't an option
No, that's
anymore.
what I mean, absolutely. Because, you can't buy goals, can you? Unless you...
Well, you can't. Because that's what you're going to try to do.
Well, you can go to a Harry Kane and that's buying goals,
yeah.
right? Go to Haaland, that's buying goals. At the level that we're playing, you can't buy goals. But you can buy players with the right attributes that will increase the likelihood of you scoring goals. And we all know what they are. And we're back around that loop again now where because I can give you 20 players, John, who are going to have pace, or of the right age, right physical attributes beyond pace, technical and so on. Yeah. And if you put two of them in our team, we would instantly be a bigger threat. Brentford, players you've never heard of, scoring goals, and so on, and so let's just hear a name as just signed for us we've never heard of, and then the peer review pops up and says, oh, hang on a minute, this lad's got all the attributes, and you think, oh yeah, cool, we are doing it differently now.
You want to see them going after those other players, don't you? Because I think everyone would get on board then. It's the fact, I think people are just seem to be anyway a bit fed up that it just seems to be like Wout Weghorst has been mentioned today. I mean, it's an obvious link, of course it is. Sean Dyche has had them at Burnley, and
that's boring.
But again, it's the same thing.
Lack of
no imagination again. It's like, well, he's had them before. Done nothing at Burnley. Done all right at Besiktas. Went to United. Done nothing at United really. And now Everton, it's that kind of
That's just another symptom, and it's a symptom of lack of effective engagement by the football club, because it's a free hit. You can throw any rumour you like out. I don't mean the club has to sit there trying to counter every rumour, but it counters a big bundle of rumours by some simple statements, right, about... We know where we're at. We know, and they could just say, we know what everyone in this league knows what you need. You need pace in these areas. So of course, that's what we're looking for. You need stability in these. These aren't positions for having kids, and so on.
They could even, if they really wanted to, put it out to people who there's journalists who they feed stuff to. So they could easily go, listen, Wout Weghorst isn't on our list.
Absolutely,
and that could be put out by Paul Joyce, who's seen
Joe Thomas,
stuff. Joe Thomas, the Echo.
Joe would be brilliant for that sort of stuff.
It's not believed what Weghorster's on Everton.
It's our understanding that. All that we'd all know. Someone's told them.
Job done. Al Hilal is who wanted Messi, and they also won the league. They're the ones who want Damari Gray. The Blues says Danjuma can play wide if you're giving him license not to track back, but we don't play with 3 attackers that don't defend. Him tracking back, helping won't happen. Well, we'll see, won't we, how they play. If Dyche gives the go-ahead for him, then I'm not sure whether or not he's playing through the middle.
But if you have a front 3, you need variety. Maybe his variety is he doesn't track back. In return, you get pace and directness.
So we're just waiting on that. We're obviously waiting on thingy. We're waiting on a confirmation of Ashley Young, aren't we, to Everton. That'll be Everton's first signing, it looks like. Everton Viking says...
Do you think that'll be confirmed when we see him on a camera?
In Switzerland, probably. Well, he was due to be flown out this morning to Switzerland, so...
He's come back private plane, otherwise someone has spotted him.
Otherwise, you'll see what's what. No, Dick. I love for me and Ped to get out there. There was no chance. The price of it. Everton Viking says, I'm not bothered about missing out on the player, Rodrigo, but I am frustrated that we constantly miss out on targets, unable to wrap them up early. And it's the message we send out. We still offer the 32-year-old a 2-year deal on high wages. As I said on Twitter, just because someone else gazumped us doesn't mean we're suddenly savvy business-wise. We still tried to get him and failed. I know there is complexities, and I understand the agents and the contract side of football world very well, but we've been known for years with agents and other clubs that we're terrible at closing off deals. Also, Everton being so awkward with other stuff in previous years, season ticket holders have had access to pre-season games, which now have also gone up in price as part of a membership package, but now the wording on it has become very vague. So a simple yes or no question to the fan services on Twitter to ask if season tickets holders still have access to pre-season games as part of our package. They can't even actually answer that. I saw that question yesterday and I haven't seen an answer for it. So the games are on live. Everton are showing all the games.
On telly, you mean?
Bar Sporting.
Oh, right,
because they can't show the Sporting, even though it will be on, because it'll be shown by everyone else, but Everton can't.
Right.
So someone asked yesterday, season ticket holders, do we get the... Well, it was 2 actually. One just asked the question, is the game on live on Friday? No answer. I hadn't seen it. They might have answered now. I hadn't seen it. The game will be shown. Have a look, Ned. The game will be shown because it all of, right. And obviously what Everton Vikings asking is, well, normally we've got that. Season ticket holders get the game for nothing because it's part of your season ticket.
That's right, yeah.
And now apparently they haven't even given a straight answer with that.
It's not good enough.
It's just extraordinary that we it's almost like, this is how I interpret it, and I might be way wrong here, by the way, way wrong here, but it's almost like there's a lot of different things at fault, and it's the waiting for someone to come in and just brush everything away to reset. That's how it looks. I might be way wrong here, but I always look at it and think, well, if I'm in a room and I can see 3 issues in a room that I don't need, if you're my boss, I don't need to go and ask John about these. I'll just shut the window because we're getting off now, and I'll just take them cups out and I'll just turn that off at the wall.
Yeah.
I don't need John to tell me to do that because I'm just in here. And Everton almost seem to have these other problems that people, like things like no infant kits in for a week, but the kit went on sale on day 1. So people are ready with it's new kit day with your kids. Oh, I haven't got your size, sorry. It'll be in a week or so. Okay, well, why did we release the kit then a week before everything was...
Can't get large sizes.
So it's these little... Now, if someone could come back to me and give me honest answers and go, this is why we do this, we do that, we do the other, right?
Ped's trying to buy stuff as you're talking.
No, I'm not trying to buy stuff, right?
You just can't get it.
I'm logged into Everton's website, so they've got all my information. They know I'm a
Yeah.
And it wants to charge me £9
for the game.
To watch it on telly.
Yeah. Even though it knows you're a season ticket.
And I'm all logged in, and this is 2 days before the game, so what's going to change in those 2 days?
Nothing.
Am I going to get it? Am I going to get it for free? Or am I going to pay £9?
Yeah.
I'm paying £9 for a team that sounds like mayonnaise.
Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy, and it's that kind of thing. And I just think, could we not start putting those little things to bed?
Well,
and therefore people would.
Of course, right? And the thing is, what you're describing, because I don't know, but I concern myself about people being hopeful that two people we've never heard of from a company no one had heard of not so long ago who are lending us some money are going to produce a couple of guys or ladies to sit on a board, and they're going to make everything better just because they're there, right? But lots of what you're describing just requires some basis business acumen, leadership, accountability type behaviours, right? Now, we know people who work there. Those people have those competencies, or they've exhibited them previously. Therefore, it's a bit like you just said, you almost looked to heaven and went, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me it's okay to do something. So the old adage of stop waiting for approval and just seek forgiveness if you get it wrong. Because you know what? Everything we see are symptoms.
Yeah.
The causes are lack of leadership, period. By all means, let's do these for the God every day or whatever it is. Keep coming up with things that you think are wrong, which are not at their root cause lack of leadership, because it's all lack of leadership. And a very close cousin or child of that is lack of effective communication.
Yeah.
And communication and engagement are different things. Communication in my world is one way. Engagement is two way. And we just talked about people getting uptight, saying lack of planning, lack of this, lack of that, lack of the other. And what we're actually talking about is a journalist saying we're after Rodrigo, a journalist saying how much we'd offered, a journalist saying this, you know what I mean? The football club might very well be doing those back channels that you talked about, but on the wrong things because they just caught a cold on this one, or it's just assumptive by journalists or agents steering the pot, probably a mixture of all those things, when the only person or entity around the circle of perception that's not offering it its view is our football club. And that's because Bill comes from a very old style approach which says say nothing. Soon you can't react to rumours because otherwise you have to react to all of them. So don't react to anything. And it almost becomes a very transactional binary thing. We don't comment, therefore there is no comment. But where's the nurturing comms? Where's the stuff you do that allows people to work out for themselves that this is bullshit? You don't have to say it's bullshit. You can allow people to work it out. And part of that working it out is by building trust. And I'll just shorthand it, right? That you know what you're doing. And it's too easy to say we're in disarray and this, that, and the other.
When you see things like Ped's just done it there.
That's an example, absolutely.
It's a pre-season game on Friday, the first one.
That's exactly
It's a chance for the football club to switch everything, to just go, we're playing a game of footy here, and you know what? There's going to be a lot of young lads playing who you haven't seen, so that gives you something interesting to watch, rather than all the ones you don't want to see. Yeah. And every year, as a season ticket holder, you've got them free. All right, I'll log in and see, I've got to pay £9 to watch it.
That's not the way to find out.
Okay, well, if you're charging me £9 to watch it, tell me.
Do you know what that is in behavioural?
I've just been told season ticket holders get it for free, right?
But you as a season ticket holder...
As a season ticket, it wants to charge me £9.
I'm
trying to get to the bottom of it now.
That's left hand, right hand,
that's great, right? And then, so that's just one thing. The kits, so no infant kits when it went on sale. Ped's now saying you can't get large men's, so there's an issue with kits.
Sold out.
Right, so for sold out, fine, but the infant kits aren't sold out because they weren't available. So how about we just put the kit on sale when everything's available?
No, I'm with you.
Right,
I'm with you.
What I'm doing is I'm just showing you all the
let me do the behavioural thing.
Right? We'll go on because we're going to finish in a minute because we are live at 2:00 on More Than a Game as well.
But do the behavioural thing around that is, and it's a bit like the footy, there's...
Hit the like button and subscribe.
There's doing the right thing and there's doing things right. Doing the right thing is season ticket holders don't pay. Doing things right is he doesn't get charged for it when he tries to watch the damn thing. They made a decision, presumably, and this is the sad bit, maybe they didn't, maybe it just happened on the kits, But as soon as you launch without any kits of a certain age group available at all, as soon as a different age group or size is unavailable, people think it's the same reason. It could just be there's a lot of lardy gits like Ped around and they've all bought kits. Or it could be those sizes aren't available because production... Whatever.
There's no medium, there's no extra large.
In demand, they've all sold out.
Well, in demand's great, but I don't think you should go on sale without there being at least 10 kits in every.
No,
every
I agree.
You know
but
I mean?
This is a huge Premier League football club, and we sell merchandise, and no one ever sees on our website sold out, do they?
No, because we're available, and we sell a lot of
our
merchandise.
logistics process is clearly more efficient.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Ian and Anthony made up to see you on, John.
Thank you.
Hope you're well. And Jake had said, hope you're recovering well after your
Yeah,
operation.
go and see the surgeon tomorrow.
And Michael Barnes says he's got a man crush on you.
Woo!
So there you go,
Because
John.
I was wearing pink.
Still got it. Still got it. Mark says, Baz, we should have got Ted and Moffey before Nice bought him.
Bet you there's countless, isn't there, examples like that?
Mate, saying it. Me and Andy, the Piv, were saying it. Evan could have got him. We've telling them a year
keeping a list, you know. Every time you...
It's there, mate. You just go on.
No, mate, but every time...
Romain Favre, who Bournemouth signed yesterday and have loaned back. And me and Andy done a video on him 2 seasons
going on
ago.
there, isn't there?
Well, there's loads.
He's 25 in a couple of days.
There's loads. There's literally loads.
But you're right, but we make a list, it's a bit like the producer is watching it. And if you mention a player, Everton should look at him, he should have, Baz said on this date at this time. And then we just sort it.
But what's mad is,
mad.
Listen, I don't sit here and go, Everton don't know these players.
Of course they do.
Because I'm quite sure everyone in that recruitment team
they know everyone.
Everyone.
Absolutely.
Right, so let's join the dots up then. Let's actually go and get some of these players then.
Yeah.
Let's go and get some and go, we took him. And it's cost us 15 million, but you know what? It would have cost us 25 to get that one player just because he's played 4 games in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So if one of these 3 that we've spent 15 million on makes it, we make easily 15 million. So we're covering ourselves, but we actually back ourselves that 2 of them are definitely going to play in our first team. The other one, we'll see. But if he plays a few games, we can double him and sell him.
Do you know how you do that? A sustained period of time, proactively engaging with your fan base. So you tell them what you're going to do. You tell them you've done it. You tell them what you're going to do again. You're very consistent. When you fail, but you fail quickly. Yeah. And you don't lose money on it. You could say Moise Keane was a failed signing, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Never really did anything for us.
No,
but we did all right financially. Anthony Gordon, great business. Most fans thought, he's up, But if in 3 years' time, the same fans can't say, look at him, he's a superstar, and we let him go. Because in the moment we didn't. So it's all about preparing the groundwork for a fundamental thing, which is trust us. We do know what we're doing. And we're not going to respond to everything you ask us, but we do know what we're doing. And here's the evidence that we know what we're doing.
Absolutely right. Last couple, Anita says, if you look close enough on the website, season tickets holders can watch for free. But then when you click on it, it says it wants to charge you, Anita.
Everyone's going to get an email, apparently.
That's a reaction,
going to be emailed. Again, that's a reaction. Yeah. Fair enough. Club have said every Evertonian season ticket holder and member will get an email, and you'll be able to click on the email and it'll take you to the game.
So while you're looking at stuff, in customer management behavioural terms, what Ped's just experienced is called bill shock.
Okay.
The bill is bigger than he thought. He thought it was going to be 0. Then it becomes 9. When that happens, your customer services organisation have to react, and the cost of managing your customers goes up.
Yeah.
So now they're doing an email. That email will generate calls into a call centre because some people say, "What's this email for?" You see what I mean? And it just becomes a runaway train for you. It's mad.
Right, last two
totally
from
mad.
Terry. Afternoon, gents. If we sell Gray as expected, then that leaves us with just one natural senior wide player in the squad. With this in mind, I could see us getting Nonto, Elanga and Danjuma by the summer. Time the summer's open. Elanga is in a similar boat to James Garner. We could probably get him on a Ken Wright-Klarna deal. Nonto behind the striker, Danjuma on loan. My only question, which one will play on the right wing? I don't know whether Elanga wants us. I think he might want to move abroad. James says at least Danjuma knows the city, even if it was just for one day. And Terry says this is a business and her feelings cannot be a consideration. It's on Danjuma.
Spot on, mate,
which he clearly was. Then we will see him as someone who can improve the team. Who are we hurting if we don't take him and he goes elsewhere and we get a worse player? Only ourselves. Well said, Terry. Right, hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. The link is in the description. We're live at 2, talking everything else football-wise.
Excluding
Everton. Unless Everton actually release the Ashley Young signs news at 2 o'clock. Whether they do or not, who knows. But we'll be live at 2 on More Than a Game channel. The link is in the description. Get over there now. We'll be live again in 6 minutes. You've got enough time to get yourself a brew. And we'll be back. See you in a minute.
Sounds good.